Hello everyone, welcome to Eye of Africa. I am your host Aina Fadina. Today we're in East London and we're at the workshop for Yinka Ilori. He's a British Nigerian furniture designer and we're going to be talking to him about his design, his culture and what inspires him to be an artist. So let's go and have an insightful conversation. So Yinka, you're Nigerian, you're British Nigerian.
Yeah, that's right.
How's it growing up in a Nigerian household in London?
Amazing, because it's so much, there's a lot of cultures I've learned from my mum and my dad, and that's what's inspired sort of, you know, like my sort of passion for furniture design and bringing my culture into my work.
And how does that influence your work as a designer? Like, how does being Yoruba and being Nigerian influence your work?
You know, studying at university, I did a degree in product design and furniture, so I was sort of designing for like companies like Lina Rose. And I felt when I was designing projects for those sort of like corporate companies, there was no sort of, for me, there was no direction, there was no sort of connection in what I was designing. I was just designing because it looked, for me, because it looked good.
Right.
But for me, there was no connection to what I was designing. So over the years, I wanted to sort of be able to sort of, you know, put in my culture into my work. Then I started playing around with parables and then Nigerian fabrics and sort of like Ankara, Ashoke. And then knowing how powerful it is in, you know, for example, Ashoke is using on-door state for like weddings and coronation, which is where my mum's from. And knowing it's so expensive and then putting that into my work, and that's how I sort of got involved in sort of parables and storytelling. Yeah.
So when you told your parents you wanted to be a furniture designer, how did they take that?
Oh, wow. My dad was always, oh, you're gonna be an engineer, or it wasn't, I don't know, years ago, a bit like, it's still now. Yeah. I think if you say I'm an artist or a designer, it's like you sort of looked down upon. I don't know, I think now it's becoming more sort of, you know, credible and people sort of respect your craft and your work. But when they started seeing I was doing exhibitions around sort of Europe and around the world, and they started to see, oh, this is something, you know, like, had my mum, dad, everyone there.
Oh, that's nice.
And then they were like really happy.
They took pictures, they were happy.
Yeah, they were like, that's my song.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's awesome, yeah.
That's cool. So as a young entrepreneur, how was that transition from a designer to being an entrepreneur, businessman?
It is still a business, and I'm still also trying, you know, at the same time being creative. I learned that for me, you know, starting out, it's not always about the money. It wasn't always about the money. It was sort of, you know, like the passion I had and, you know, getting my work out there. Well, hence why I have workshops that I teach as well. I teach people how to sort of upcycle their own furniture, and a chance of, you know, using my parables that I think are quite powerful, and they get a chance to, you know, sort of select their own parables.
So you use Ankara and you use Ashoke a lot. Are you gonna branch away from that and try something new, or do you want to just kind of stick to those things that define, I guess, your culture, your aesthetic?
I don't know, because it's interesting because people sometimes I've said, oh, I've seen your chair in the shop. I'm like, how do you know it's my chair? Because they said they know my style and know, you know, sort of how I work. So it's nice that I have a sort of stamp. But I think in my next collection, I'm going to be working more with prints I want to sort of do on my own. I want to have more of a sort of connection with the print and the chair, so there's more of a connection to the stories.
So what is upcycling?
What is upcycling?
Yeah.
My personal type would be reliving what people don't love anymore. So basically, if someone doesn't love anything anymore, I take it and relive it. Okay. I always say I see furniture as like, I mean, like, people deserve a second chance. No one deserves to be sort of cast away. Oh, you've made a mistake. That's the end of you.
Wow.
So
depends.
Just
kidding.
I'll just. What inspires me, I really like to go to a lot of like sort of vintage shops, second-hand furniture shops, and being able to sort of look at different sort of pieces of furniture and being inspired by it, but just by looking at it. Because when I work, I never tend to sketch anything. I always tend to just get the piece, and then instantly I'm inspired. I have this sort of parable in my head, and I'm inspired by it, and I break it down in my head and how I want it to sort of look like. So other artists like Yinka Ilori inspire me because I think his work is really powerful. I remember while at university I was doing a project, actually my dissertation, it was about Nigerians in the diaspora and how they use their sort of, you know, their culture and their fabrics and as a way of sort of, you know, like showing their identity. When I read into his work, I understood that he uses like, you know, like sort of post-colonial issues and in a humorous way, but it's with a hidden meaning and a powerful meaning. So I like the way he plays around with humor. But then there's also, it's a really sort of powerful and important subject that he's hitting upon. And I think that's where I sort of get my inspiration from as well, where each chair that I do most of the time has a hidden meaning to it as well, because it's parables, but I make it sort of quite funnerful, but yet it's really So it's also got with humour to it as well.
It's deep, and it's also sort of like it's not that serious. Yes, it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does music influence your work?
Just, well, a few of my favourite artists will have to be Ebenezer Obey, King Sunny Ade, and Fela Kuti.
The old schools, the legends.
I think for me, those guys, in their music, there's always hidden meanings. And, you know, like for me, I feel like music is a teacher.
Now you're hoping to do anything in Nigeria? Take things back there? What are your plans?
Definitely the plan is to hopefully, I don't want to say what I'm doing, but in a few months, there will be,
something.
You'll probably see me there,
Okay.
Yeah.
Should be interested. And it'd be interesting to see what you're able to do on the ground with local artisans as well too. Because I think when it comes to artistry and using hands, it's something that's sort of not being passed around generations anymore. And I think people sort of, I don't want to say getting lazy or just, you know, it's just one of those things where like, you know, I tell my mom all the time, like, once that generation is gone, how are we continuing our culture? How are we continuing who we are as people? Storytelling.
That's interesting because my dad's brother, he's a carpenter, so he was making our sofas for our house. And he made this most amazing, beautiful sofa. I would love to learn his craftsmanship because there's things he could teach me. But people are forgetting that it's carpenters that were making stools, benches, you know, like all sort of things for home. It was these guys that were doing this. But I feel like there's things I can learn from, you know, carpenters. And I feel if I was to ever work in Nigeria, I would love to sort of go to the local craftsmanships and work with them. And they know a lot about, you know, culture. And I feel being able to sort of learn, you know, bits about culture I don't know and use that in my work, that would be, again, would be interesting because then I can teach the younger generation things they don't know about their culture.
So London may be losing you, possibly?
No. I think there's so much sort of inspiration here, like so much sort of culture, and it's really diverse here. I love that. So being able to sort of, you know, to breathe all that and then, you know, and breathe it out in my work is, for me, it's really powerful. Yeah, definitely.
It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you, talking to you, just sort of getting to know you, your process of work as well. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best. And, you know, just, you know, I'm excited to see what's coming up for you.
Thank you so much.
I was high fives. It's like, what are we doing?